Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Thank you very much for joining me again today for another Top Tip Tuesday. And I thought it would be useful as we are about to get new InColors. Can't wait. They are gorgeous. I thought it would be a good idea, sorry I'm getting too excited, to have a look at how to set up a stamp pad. This is not one of the new InColors because we are not able to get hold of them just yet, but the setup is the same. So this is a Blackberry Bliss ink pad, probably not the wisest thing for me to use, bearing in mind I have a white sweatshirt on. But hey, so when you get your new ink pad, it will come shrink wrapped. So all you need to do is get your snips and just get rid of that. And you will see that you've got it all nicely labelled on the front. And then on the back you've got 4 language labels and a blank. Why have you got 4 language labels and a blank, I hear you ask? Well, we need to know what colour it is, and we also want to know what colour it is when the stamp pad is open. So there's Blackberry Bliss. Let me grab, let's see, Merry Merlot. Now I know that's Merry Merlot, I can see that's Merry Merlot because it's got the sticker in there, but otherwise would I know? And then let's take Early Espresso. Would I know that that's Early Espresso? Answer, probably not. So, as I say, wearing a white sweatshirt, possibly not the wisest thing I have ever done when playing with dark ink pads. But, you know, best laid plans. So, this is my nice new shiny Blackberry Bliss ink pad. Now, you may ask, why have I got a new Blackberry Bliss ink pad? And the simple answer is that because I was planning on doing, and in fact did start doing, more face-to-face classes, I wanted to have a set of ink pads for my use and a set of ink pads for classroom use. So I bought myself a whole new lot of ink pads, and then COVID-19 hit. Hey-ho! So I'm taking my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to lift off, because it's got a little marker there to say lift off. I'm going to lift off as much of that sticker as I can get off in one go as possible. Obviously this is not wanting to come off. This is the one I'm going to use because obviously I want to see what colour it is in English. So I'm going to stick that at the front of my ink pad, and that's what that space there is. So you've got your finger hole there and this space here. Now I do use one of the other language stickers for the back because sometimes these things get turned around, particularly at class where people are just, you know, popping things all over the place and they could be upside down and all sorts. At least if you've got something that shows you the colour, it may not be your language, but it will show you the colour. So I'm going to peel off the French version and stick that on the back. So at least I can see, I've got a visual that that is a deep plummy colour. I may not know whether it's rich raspberry or Blackberry Bliss, but I know it's going to be something along those lines. Fortunately, my French is just about good enough that I know that cassis is a berry, a specific berry, I should say. So we've then got the unnamed sticker, and that is exactly the right size to go into the space at the end of your stamp case. Whoops, upside down. Sticking it to the sticky side down is always a good plan. So I tend to just drop it in and then go back and rub it down. Now I do find that a bone folder is really good for that, so just give it a push down, trying to avoid the ink pad. And that, you would think, is my ink pad setup. So I've got a visual here, I've got the name and the visual there, and I've also got the visual on the inside. So these I can get rid of, but here's the thing. these stack beautifully, and you put them on top of each other, and I'm pushing that one really quite hard, and I can't get it to, even if I huff on my finger so it's a bit stickier, I can't get that to move. If I put this one on, it's not sitting nicely, so even if I put it back in the huff, and it's of course now playing beautifully, but it is loose. Whereas if I move this one, can you see that doesn't move backwards and forwards? This one is moving backwards and forwards quite a lot. This one, not really. And that's because of this piece that we've left on the back. You wouldn't think that a small piece of paper could make all that difference. So it's worth taking the time, and it can be a bit of a fiddle. It will come off, but it can be a bit of a fiddle. What I would say is try and peel it back as flat to the surface as possible rather than lifting it up. I've got a bit of a tear there, so I'm now going to change direction. And again, it's tearing a little bit there, so let's find another corner. But just keep going until you've got rid of as much, if not all, of this sticker as you possibly can, because that is what keeps your ink pads stacked nicely rather than flopping around in the breeze. So I'm getting most of it off. And it's obviously meant to come off because this is where we know that it's a water-based dye ink. So if you can't get it off, I do find fingernails work really well. The alternative is, and what I do quite often, is I get a piece of sticky tape, just ordinary sticky tape, and this is one of those ones that will peel back off, and I just rub quite hard to see if I can get that to give a key. And there you are, that's come off, and that's come off. So, you know, it's not that difficult to get the remainder of the ink, the label off the back of your ink pad. And then if I put it on, can you see it's not moving as much? So that is my top tip, how to set up your ink pad, and remember to remove the label from the back so that you've got a more solid stack. Now 2 or 3, it's not going to make a huge difference, but when you've got a high stack, it is going to make a difference. And you can see that we've got the lumps there and the divots there. So this is what it's meant for. And it does mean that if you haven't yet got your stamping storage, first, why haven't you? See, that's now going to annoy me. It's not beautifully lined up, but it'll be fine. I'm going to just live with it. If you haven't got your stamping storage, why? It's beautiful. I will try and get a shot of my stamping storage for you for the blog post to go with this. I will need to clear up some stuff because it's a bit of a nightmare at the moment. But yes, this is the next best thing to having your stamping storage. You could have all of your regals or your neutrals or whatever stacked up. This is obviously a regal. These two are both neutrals. So yes, you could have them all stacked up in their 5 colour families, looking beautiful, knowing that because you've taken that label off the back, they're not going to knock over so easily. So there we go. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Do remember to hit the subscribe button and give a thumbs up if you found that helpful. And more information will be on my website, which is linked immediately below. And I will also link up the stamping storage because it is beautiful and certainly worth getting. And of course, once you've got it, it lasts forever as long as you treat it carefully. Thank you very much indeed. Keep safe, keep well, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.